What up guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys have been digging the content, but the reason why you're here is to figure out how to find these fish during the summer. So during the early summer, just like any other day, in order to find these bass, you need to find the bait, or you need to find where they find their forage. So during the early summer, it could be kind of tricky. You could kind of be fishing for post-spawn, fully post-spawn recovered fish, beat up fish, and spawners. I mean, there's still fish spawning right now. There's fish spawning in the Northern California region. There's fish spawning over in Utah right now. I believe Cody Henley just launched out a video on him bed fishing during that Utah tournament over at Pineview. I believe it was Utah. It could have been either Utah or Colorado. It's one of the two states. You have fish in all stages: spawn, post-spawn, summertime pattern. So those summertime pattern fish, they already recuperated. They already fully recovered from the spawn already. And I've caught fish right now. I'm catching fish that have no scar on them at all. They're fully healthy and recuperated from spawning. But then there's also times where I'd catch a fish with a bloody tail, and then I'd catch a fish ultra shallow that was probably on a bed, most likely. Now, how do I find these fish? If you have creek arms or arms that go way back into the coves, or if you have coves over your highland reservoir or your lowland reservoirs, you might want to go check out further back into that arm before you even go to main lake point. Straight to the main lake points, go all the way back into the arm and figure out if the shad are spawning, if the shad are in open water in the back of those arms, and see if those bass are just busting on those shad. Now, if that's not the case, go work shallow, go figure out if there's a bite during the shallow time. During this early summer, you'll start to see grass growth on the bank, especially at lowland reservoirs where you get like lots of shallow water. You get anywhere from a foot of water all the way down to 100 feet of water. Like, it doesn't matter. If you have grass inside your lakes, what you wanna do is go on your graph and figure out that weed line. A lot of the times, those bass during early summer will hang out at that next structure over from the shallows, that weed line or rock piles, before they go into full-fledged summer pattern. So you can catch those fish at their stopping ground right after they spawn and done their business. So that would be weed lines, that'd be rock piles, that'd be open water where they can congregate against the shad. Now, if they're just on bluegill, most of the time they'll probably be on that weed line. Weed line, weed line, weed line. So if you have the 2D graph or a down scan imaging or forward-facing sonar or 360 Mega Live, figure out where the weed line is and start marking that weed line. And once you establish that weed line, turn on your topo map or your navigational map, turn that on, and you'll see where to cast on that weed line. And you can cover water, simply cover water. Let's say you don't get bit. You know, good scenario, you do get bit. Now you know the bass are congregating in the back of these arms where the water is super warm and the shad are prevalent. The bass will be busting on them. That's the good news. Let's say they're not there. You know, you're only getting that one bite and you're getting only 1 pounders and 8 inchers and 10 inchers. Maybe you need to work in the middle of that arm. So instead of going all the way back to the main lake point or all the way back into the arm, start working mid-arm. So go to the middle of the arm and start working that weed line. And if they're not on that weed line, they're still spawning, go work up super shallow and start scanning the shallow areas to see if they're still stuck on beds. If they're not stuck on beds, most likely they pushed out to that secondary weed line. Once you find that weed line, start fan casting to that weed line, see if those bass are there. And you'll know too. So once you catch a fish, you'll see a fish, if it has a bloody tail, there's gonna be a group of fish that pushed out to the deeper waters on that weed line to recuperate, eat a nice easy meal before they go back into the summer pattern, okay? So a lot of the times they'll not be in super shallow water, they won't be in super deep water, they'll be in that middle point, that next stomping ground before they hit their summer pattern, okay? So either weed line or rock pile or vertical cover right before deep water and right before shallow water. Okay, so let's say the fish are completely done spawning, they're absolutely healthy, and they recuperated from spawn and they feel good. They're absolutely, and the summer kind of hit early. Well then, you need to go to your main lake points. So your main lake points, they're gonna be in absolutely summer pattern. So that point, you can fish rock piles that are in deep water, 30, 40 feet. If you're down south and your deepest water is like 10 feet or 6 feet, then you can go push out to 10 or 6 to 10 feet and just go work it off of there. And you can either use your scout mode, your 360 on your Humminbird, and figure out where those rock piles are, or you could use your side scan, which is pretty common in all the fishing graphs. Start using your side scan about 100 to 120 feet out, turn up your gain, and start plotting out, like whenever you see dark shades and rock piles, those are gonna be rock piles. And you click, 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 click. When you see shadows, they could be the rock piles or grass lines. Just start making waypoints. Make a waypoint there. So once you made waypoints, maybe you made 30 waypoints in a matter of a quarter-mile stretch. Now start circling back to them. Start fishing your swim baits, chatterbaits. And if they're not like eating those swim baits, chatterbaits, or spoons, flutter spoons, or DT10s or DT16s, go to your, your familiar Dropshot or shaky head. Robo worm is a great worm to start out with. When it comes to finesse technique on these rock piles and grass lines, that's when you could really just bang them up. If they're not eating the crankbaits or the flutter spoons or the swim baits or chatterbaits, you switch automatically to the finesse and you check that out, right? So it really depends. You need to check the whole entire arm, all the way in the back of the arm, all the way to main lake point, and figure out where the biggest group of fish are. Are they just pushed up on that weed line in the middle scenario? Not deep, not shallow, but like 10 to 15 feet, 10 to 20 feet. If they're right there, that means they just recovered from spawn, or they're trying to recover from spawn and they have bloody tails. That's when you want to target those fish. Summer hit earlier than you expected. Go to main lake points, find those weed lines and rock piles out in the middle of nowhere. That's where you want to do. You want to use your side scan during that time. Now, if they're still stuck in spawn and you're having, the summer is hitting later than expected, then you need to be working shallow. And that could be in protected water areas, coves, flats, any protected areas that you see next to hard cover like rocks and etc. You'll still find spawning fish in those areas. That's how you find fish during this early summer, in the beginning of summer, because you got fish all over. You got fish, like I said, you got fish that are in spawn, post-spawn, summertime patterns. So just look around, be open-minded, go look up shallow for a while, and if you don't spot out a bass, or if you just see 8-inch bass up shallow, that means they probably done their business. And if you see a lot of fry everywhere, they're probably in post-spawn or guarding fry. So look at your secondary spots, secondary points, secondary weed lines, and then if you know that they fully recovered from all their spawn and everything, they're probably in an early summertime pattern. Go check out your main lake points. Go check out that rock pile in deep water, and find out where all that bait fish is as well. That could really help out your odds. And don't be afraid to work that moving bait as well as a finesse bait. Anyways, good luck. This is a short video. I want to make it simple for you guys to just go out there and fish. Utilize your electronics. That's why you bought it. Utilize your side scan, your down scan, and your 2D, and you'll be in good shape. Trust me, you'll be in good shape. Mode. Anyways, if you guys like this content, hit that like button. Comment below what you want to see more often, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.